You can record it. You just won't see me. We don't want to see me anyway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So in case you want to watch this again some other time, you have access to it. So when you build an assembly, how many of y'all have actually built an assembly with Inventor before? Raise your hand. So half of you. Okay, so this will be a good review for some of you. How many have actually imported parts from McMaster-Carr to use in your assembly? You actually imported parts from McMaster-Carr. All right, so that's okay. That's to show you. We're going to create a very simple assembly. It's not about how difficult what we're going to build here. It's about, do you know how to, the procedure. So I'm going to make it very simple. All right. So, and this will be good for those who've never done it before. So I'm going to go to File up here, New. Make sure you select English and then select Standard IPT and then select Create. And it's going to take a minute or two, well, not a minute, but a few seconds here for it to come up. All right, so I'm gonna make a plate about a ½ inch, something very simple here. Okay, so start 2D sketch. Start 2D sketch, and I'm going to click on the XY plane right here. Okay, now go to rectangle and go to rectangle 2-point center right here. And to the origin. As you move your cursor near the origin, for those who are not familiar, it's going to kind of like snap to the origin. Click with your left mouse button. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to keep this very simple. So we'll make it like a 4-inch. So type in 4, but don't hit the enter button, and tab and type in 4 again and enter. And then do a right click with your mouse and select OK. All right, so you can't see the geometry, but if you take your scroll wheel and rotate it, you can zoom in and out. For those who haven't had too much practice with an Inventor, the scroll wheel will allow you to zoom in and out. Hold down the scroll wheel and move your mouse and you can pan. All right. So again, this is a good review for most of you. And new for some. Up here you have your view cube, right? If you click on this corner, and consequently if you click on any corner, right, will allow you to a variety of different views. Okay, I'm gonna get in this view here, so make sure front and then click this corner here. All right. Now, I have finished the sketch, very simple sketch. Finish sketch here and go to extrude. And I'm going to make this plate a ½ inch thick. So right here where it says distance A, you're going to backspace here and you're going to type in 0.5. And then I'm going to hit this arrow here, flipped. Right here, select OK. Bless you. We're going to file, and we are going to, well, not yet. We're not going to file yet. Just hit the escape button. Sorry, not ready to file yet. I want to put some holes in the 4 corners. All right, so go to Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch, and click on this face right here. All right, now there are several ways in which you can do this. As far as creating holes, I mean, I could put a circle at each corner and extrude that. But instead of doing that, I want you to go up here and create a rectangle. This is part of our sketch still. And we're going to make this, let's say maybe 3 by 3. So type in 3, tab 3, enter. Do a right click, okay. Mr. Morris, why are you doing that? Well, I'm going to use that. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab, we'll see where it says point right here. Click on point and zoom in on each corner of this rectangle or the square we just created, and click each corner. It's going to put a point. Now you can barely see it, but there's a point there, I promise. Click right here, zoom out if you need to, and click right here. All right, I'm going to do a right click, okay. So I've got a point again at you can barely see it. It's right there at each corner of that square. I'm going to finish the sketch here, and then I'm going to go to hole. Notice that it picked all the points. Okay, each point, does everyone's geometry look like mine? Okay, now you could have done this another way, and which is fine. When you're looking at this dialog box here, look at where it says hole. There's a variety of holes you can make here. All right. So I'm going to select just a simple hole. I don't want any seat. I don't want a seat. All right. In other words, we don't want a counter bore, a spot face, or a countersink. I don't want a seat. But I do want a clearance hole for quarter 28 or quarter 20 socket head cap screw that I'm going to use here a little bit. Okay, so go ahead and put a make it like 0.257. That's the clearance hole for a quarter 20 screw or a quarter 28. Can't remember. I think it's quarter 20. It doesn't matter. Select OK. All right. Now let's save this. File, save as, and I'm just going to call this top plate. Top plate. And notice that it's going to save it as an IPT file, inventor part file. All right, so that's fine. Save. All right. Yes, there's other things you can do this. That's not my point with this video here. And now I want you to do a file, and I want you to do a save as, and I want you to save as a bottom plate. Okay. Notice that we're in the directory documents. Everything that we're doing right now has to be in the same directory. All right. Everything that we're doing has to be in the same directory. And I'm going to save this. All right. So now I'm currently in the bottom plate. If you want to give this, make it look pretty cool, you can. We will give it a material designation. So what you do here, sorry, I'm going too fast. You right click here. This is the browser over here. You right click on the file name and you select iProperties. When you select iProperties, select physical, and we're going to, where this is material, we're going to arrow down here, and I'm going to select, let's see, alloy steel. Apply and close. All right, you can see it's got a sheen to it now, so it does have the property. I'm going to file, and I'm going to save. So that's the bottom plate. Okay, now if we go back here and we open up the top plate, let's open the top plate back up. I didn't realize I closed that out, but I guess I did. We need to do the same thing for the top plate. So right click on the file name, come down to iProperties, go to physical, arrow down generic, and select again alloy steel. Apply, close, and I'm going to save that. All right, so there you go. Very, very simple. This is like Inventor 101, right? But now what I want to do is do something a little bit different with you that you may not have done before. Mr. Freeman may have done it with me. If you had, I can't remember if Freeman had it for CAD 211. I want to, at this time, I'm going to stop the share for a minute here. And then I'm going to go back into share in just a second. I want to open up McMaster-Carr catalog. So just type in McMaster. See if Mr. Morris figures out how to spell again here. Okay, there's McMaster-Carr right there. Click on McMaster-Carr. And we're going to go to screws and bolts right here. And over here, pick the system of measurement. We're going to pick inch. All right. And then I want you to scroll down here until we find quarter 20 right here. All right. Now the length. I got 2 plates that are 1/2 inch thick. I got to allow for a washer, maybe on each side, and then a nut. So I'm going to select 1.5 inches right here. That's the length of it. And we'll pick steel. All right. And the type of screw we want to pick is a socket head type screw, socket head here. All right. We're getting close to what we want here. Pick black oxide. Mr. Morris can't talk anymore. All right, so let's see here. That gives all the information about the tensile strength and things like that. Go ahead and let's click on this part number right here, because I want fully threaded. Actually, well, go back, pick on this one here. Pick this one because it's partially threaded. I'd rather have this one. Okay, now we have some CAD data here. See this? I want you to arrow down here and I want you to select 3D IGES right here. Select 3D IGES file, and we're going to download this. Okay, so here it is, the IGES file, but we have to make sure it's in the downloads right now. We're going to have to make sure we move this over to the documents. Okay, it has to be in the same directory, right? So we're going to have to move that in just a second. Well, cancel. Hang on. It's in downloads. That's all I need to know right now. All right, now we're going to need a washer for this quarter 20 socket head cap screw here. So up here, type in washer or type in flat washer. Flat washer. And again, we want one for a quarter. And it could be steel, black oxide. And here you go. Again, just go ahead and download that. I know that's going to work. So I have 2 files and downloads. We're going to bring those in just a moment, okay? And then we're going to save them to our document directory, which I should have created a project file, but that's okay. That's another day. You probably already know how to do that. If you don't, I'll show you. As long as you keep all your files in the same directory, you should be okay. So I don't think any of those. Here, let's do this. Maybe I need to select flat. Okay. I think this is good. It only gives me one choice here. Yeah. This is a common flat washer here. So click on this one. Okay. It's the same part number anyway. Okay, good. Now we have to find a nut, right? So go up here and do a nut. Okay. And we'll choose hex nuts. And we have to find the hex nut that's going to go with the quarter 20 socket head cap screw. We'll select steel here. Okay, zinc plated, probably okay, I don't care. And this one looks like a good one right here. And make sure it's 3D IGES download. Okay, so we have a washer, a socket head cap screw, and this nut over in downloads. So if you go to downloads, there they are. This is a socket head cap screw. This is a washer. This is the head. Now we need to move that over to documents, right? So let's see if I can just, it's not gonna let me do it. I'll just do this. You know what? Just hold the control key down and select these, do a right click, copy, come over to documents, do a right click, paste. Okay, I got them in there. I know that. So there's my top plate from earlier. There's my bottom plate. And here is my hex nut, socket head cap screw, and washer. All right, now. Let's see here. All right, Sam, I didn't start to share back up anyway. I'm sorry, I left that probably the most important part. We got all that in here. I've got the share going on. It's weird how you have to stop the share each time you change your applications. I'm going to go back over here now. All right, so I want to go to File, and I want to open. And I want to open, okay, as you can see, it's not here. We've got to select all files. And then I want you to open up, where's the, right here. Open up the screw first. Open. All right, so you have this little panel comes up. We want to show solid surfaces. All that looks good. Just say, okay. All right, now, Mr. Morris, that looks like a ghost image of a screw. And it is. If you come over here and right click on this where it says composite, come down to and turn off the translucent. Turn off the translucent. All right, so now I'm going to file and I'm going to save as, we're still in documents. I'm just going to call this screw for right now. Okay, I'm just going to call this screw. And it's going to be an IPT file. Okay, so save the screw. All right. So now we have this screw as IPT. Now I want to open up my washer right here. I'm sorry, I saved two of them. I only need one. Solids are checked, surfaces, say okay. All right, we need to go over here on the browser and right click on this. And we're going to turn off translucent. I'm going to do a file, save as, washer. Okay. Save. It's in documents. See there, save. All right. Now, I've got the screw in there and I've got the washer, or actually it's not really considered a screw. In this case, it's considered a bolt because it's got a nut and a washer. File, open. And this headpiece I have on is hot with this. All right. Click on hex nut, open. All that should be good. Select OK. Come over here to the browser, right click on this. We're going to do a file, and we're going to save as a nut. You can be more specific later. Save. All right, so we should have, see, there's our bottom plate, there's our top plate, there's our screw, here's our washer, here's our nut. Now we have to build our assembly. Is everybody with me? Or I may have lost some of you, but I'm making a video, I hope. I hope that this is recording.
Wait, actually the nuts and screws in there again, it's import.
I had to do it now?
Get the nuts and screws, you gotta import, right?
I just go file open because I already had it in the documents anyway.
Oh, okay.
It's, you just pick it in here and open. And then you have to turn off the translucent. All right, my good friends, now I want to build an assembly. It's been a while since Mr. Morris built an assembly, but here we go. I'm going to go to File, New, but this time I'm not doing an IPT file, okay? And I'm not doing IDW yet. I'm going to come right here to Standard IAM. IAM stands for what? For those who've had the class before. Inventor Assembly Model, right? Click on Inventor Assembly Model, create. All right, you don't see anything here yet, right? So here's what we're going to do. Go up here and select Place. Hang on, why is it not letting me? It's almost like it's locked. Hang on. Why would it be locked? Oh, there we go. I didn't click it. Having worried there for a minute. Select bottom plate, select open, scroll out. I'm going to get an isometric view so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do a right click, place, grounded at origin. That bottom plate, and hit escape. That first plate we brought in now, right here, is, you can see a little pin. It's not going to move. You can't move that that bottom plate. Okay, you can't move it. It's locked. And you'll see. I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. All right, now go to place again, and we're going to bring in the top plate. Open. Just click right here and do a right click. Okay. I didn't place that one in origin. I didn't ground this one. All right. So this is review for most of y'all. Go to constrain, and we are going to mate. Now, this is already the default. Come over here to dynamic or free orbit. I almost said dynamic view. Sorry for AutoCAD. Hold down your left mouse button and watch. Go cut this off. See, this allows you to hold down your left mouse button and move around like this, right? Okay, but I got to be able to see this backside here. So I'm going to click right here. All right, go back to my orbit, hold down the left mouse button, cut orbit off, click here. You might hear a click. I did, and about blew my eardrums out here with these headset on. Select OK. Now, it is kind of, don't worry, it looks like it's not attached, but it is. Now watch. Now we're going to do a flush. We're going to click on this surface and this surface. Okay, you'll hear another click possibly. If not, you're missing all the fun. And I'm going to click on this again, flush. I'll click on this surface and this surface. Say okay. All right. Now, in the real world, if you made something like this, and if I was your supervisor, I'd be on your case, first of all, because it's very dangerous, right? You got sharp corners all over the place. You should have rounds and fillets, not fillets, but rounds and chamfers to protect your hands. This is a safety nightmare right here. Okay, but that wasn't the point of this video. This is not a safe part. This is a dangerous part. You can go home and tell your parents or your family or kids, wife, girlfriend, Mr. Morris showed us how to make something dangerous today in class. All right, so I'm going to go to place, And this time I'm going to select the screw and open. And I'm going to place one here, one here, one here, and one here. Do a right click. Okay. Those are arbitrarily placed. Now, come up here to constrain, and I want you to hover over this. If you hover over it, you'll see like an arrow passing through the center line. Just hover, click, and then come over to this hole until you see the center line. Hover, click. All right, I'm gonna say okay. I'm not done. Watch. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. Hold your left mouse button down and pull that joker out a little bit like that. All right. Now, what I need to do, I'm going to have to work with this tool here, because what I want to do here is I want to go to constrain, and I want to mate this surface right here to this one. Say okay. All right. Now, there's another tool you can use here that's easier than that one. If you go up here to constrain, you can do insert, and you click on this, but make sure you get your arrow on the right. We don't want it going that way. We want it going this way. And then click on the edge of the hole. I don't know if that worked. It didn't. Okay, so I'm on. It didn't work because it stopped it right there at the. I didn't click that face, I guess. Hit the undo button. I'm just going to use the other method. Just click here until you see a center line. Click, hover, center line. Click. All right, say okay. Now you can pull this out some. You might have to use your free orbit over here to see this side of the. Go to constrain. We're going to mate. Click here, come over here, and click here. 2 more to do. Click here, click here, okay. Now it's got to, I don't like that wobbling, okay then. Now, I'm going to go to constrain, and I'm going to mate this surface, come over here to orbit, and click here. All right. Again, like I said, I hope this video is going to record. It's been a long time since I made a video in this class. Okay, 1 more to do. Go to constrain, hover, center line, click, come over to the hole, hover, center line, click, select OK. All right, now I'm going to so I'm going to pull this out. Okay. I want to mate right here. All right. I hope you're able to stay it with me. But if not, that's okay. You're not going to turn anything in here. You're not going to turn anything in with this lab anyway, or this assignment. All right. So now we got to bring in our washers. Okay. So I'm going to place a washer. Open, and we need 4 of those. All right. Again, we're going to basically hover over this here, and then hover here. Select OK. Pull this out some. It's the same process each time. So maybe I should have done a plate with a couple of holes in it. Hang on, I lost my. Now. I want to do a mate here. Come over here and orbit a little bit. Click right here. All right, now we're gonna have to say, okay. I'm gonna hover center line, click with hover center line, click. That's not what I wanted to do. Hang on. Now, the reason that did that, you need to, what you need to do here is right click on this, and we're going to do a, what they call a free rotate. And then hold your left mouse button down and rotate it about that axis right there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Do a right click, okay. Now it should work better. I'm going to hover, center line click. It doesn't matter which one I pick. Hover, center line, click. That's okay. Now, still got to do one other thing here. I got to mate it. I have to mate this. I'm going to go to right here, mate. Mate what? This surface right here. You got to use your orbit. Right here. So that's okay. Same thing here. We got to do a right click on this and do a free rotate right here. Hold down the left mouse button and just do it like that a little bit. Turn off the orbit. Do the right click, okay. All right, now I'm going to hover, center line click, hover, center line click. Okay, and we're going to come up here. We're going to mate this surface. You may have to turn on your orbit. And click on this surface right here. Okay. Got one more. Right click. And we're going to do a free rotate. I'm just going to rotate about that axis a little bit like that. Right click, okay. All right, now I'm going to hover, center line click, hover, center line click. Select okay. And now we need to click here and click here. Okay. All right. All this so I can show you one thing. I'm doing all this, okay, but it's good practice. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the place. We're going to bring in the nut now. Nut, open, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so constrain, hover, center line click, hover, center line click. Okay, now I think my brain is like a piece of fudge today. They were supposed to do surgery on my wife Tuesday and they canceled it like the hour before I was supposed to have it. Couldn't believe it. Cancel. I don't know why that's not mating. Hang on. It doesn't like something, of course. Try this again. My apologies. You know, maybe I can just do this. Okay, so it's on that axis right there, but it didn't like when I tried to mate it earlier. Try this again. Okay. It did at that time. Okay, still doing the same thing. Hover, center line click, hover, center line click. Go back to orbit if you need to. You can pull this back off some more. So you can see those two surfaces. Okay, I'm going to mate those right here. Okay. I didn't like that one. Hang on. We're going to constrain this. I did the same thing last time. All right, it's going to go quick now. That this was the hardest part of all of it. And one of the main things I want to show you, if you have trouble bringing stuff in from McMaster-Carr, because some people have trouble with the assembly in McMaster-Carr. Do you remember that, Freeman? Do you remember that? Should say Mr. Freeman. All right, so maybe nothing new here for some of y'all. I'm gonna save this. And it's gonna, we'll just leave it as assembly one. Save. Now, what was happening was this. All right, so you saw how now I got my McMaster-Carr parts in here, right? What was happening is the students would bring these assembly models into their IDW files, and the McMaster-Carr parts would disappear. Do you remember that, Mr. Freeman, where they would disappear? Maybe you don't remember, I don't know. So I figured out what was going on, why that was happening. So go up here, for those who are new, go up here to File, New, and I'm going to select ANSI ID. By the way, ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute. IDW is the inventor drawing file, and create. All right, I'm going to right click on the sheet one because I don't want to size D sheet. So right click, this is your browser, right click on sheet one and go to edit the sheet. And I want to arrow down, select size A, and then select portrait. Okay. All right, so what was happening, if you go to base right here. All right, where's my screws and nuts and bolts and everything else? They're not there, right? Make this 1-to-1. Okay. My students were getting mad at me a while back when this happened. I'm going to edit the view here, and I'm going to shade this. So, hang on just a second here. I'll tell you how you do this. I got my notes written down. So if it ever happens to you, you'll know how to solve it. I actually put it in Canvas, but I'm afraid to go into Canvas because I got to stop my share again. So hang on just 1 second, folks. Hang on. Almost there. Okay. So it says when you bring the assembly into the IDW file, then you have to go to right click, edit the view. Okay, right click, edit the view, and then go to recovery options right here. This is important, Mr. Freeman, because this is where Mr. Morris fumbled the ball here. We found out some other way of doing it, but it wasn't recovery options. All right. And then select include the surface bodies and include the mesh bodies. Okay. And then select OK. Now they are there because if I was doing projected, it's there. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this view here. I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to bring in, no, I don't want to delete it. No, I don't. Hang on. I don't want to delete this. Maybe I'm going to change the scale just for a minute. I don't want you to use this. Okay, here we go. I think that's good. I'm going to change the scale here to 0.5. Why'd you do that, Mr. Morris? I'm going to show you why. Because I want to have some other views of this. I don't like this one as much. Okay, I'll just do this. Y'all know how to do this anyway, most of y'all. All right, so let's say we want to add our we want to annotate this and we want to bring in our parts list. Okay, we're going to bring in our parts list and we're going to click on the select the views, this one, and say okay. And then say okay again. Now I'm just going to put it, don't worry, right there for just a minute. I don't want all this gobbledygook over here. So you can double click on this and you go in here, and actually what I'm going to do is you can click in here and you can delete, like just like in Excel or something, you can delete, or a table in Word, you can delete all this. Okay, I don't want all this. Or you can even highlight, I think you can even highlight it. Okay, just highlight it. I hope some of y'all got something out of this. I hope. You know, anytime you teach, you always hope that your students will get something from your lecture. Otherwise, I'm wasting your time and I'm wasting my time. So, all right, don't worry. I'm gonna move these around here a little bit. I want this bill of material to be anchored right here. Now you can adjust this just like in Excel. You can adjust the column width just by holding down your left mouse button and dragging these over a little bit if you want to. We don't need a column that wide for item number. All right, I'm almost done, folks. Thank you for your patience. Like I said, you don't need to shade these, right? I'm going to edit this and I'm going to turn off the shade here. At least I thought I was. Let me see, edit. Okay, I want this one to be shaded, but not these to be shaded. All right, I got a few more minutes here. You're gonna get 100 today for participation, just watching me do this. That's a pretty good deal, right? Let's go to balloon for just a minute. If you go to balloon, if you click on this, the first plate we brought in there, click on this plate. We don't need two number twos, right? So I'm gonna click on this one. You know why it's okay? There's number one. Let me try this again. I don't want to put a dog leg in there. I don't need to have a dog leg. Continue. You just click on. What you do is you go to balloon and you do a left. Click on balloon. Do a left click. Do a left click. Right click. Continue. So I got 1, 2, and then I got this washer over here. Maybe I'll come down here to balance out my drawing some. Left click, right click, continue. And then left click, right click, continue. Hit escape a couple. Now, if it does something like this, just go grab the center and pull it back out. Okay. Now, as you know, Mr. Morse likes to have the labels viewed. Mr. Freeman will tell you that, right, Mr. Freeman? Front and bold, underline. Okay, right click. Okay, now look, I'm going to cheat here a little bit. I'm not putting no dimensions on this anyway. I would put the detailed drawings to follow this. Do y'all know how to add multiple sheets to your assembly? Okay, you know how to do that, right? How about the McMaster-Carr part stuff today? Was that new? Have you done that before or no?
No, I never done that.
Well, you'll find it to be very handy when you become an engineer. You got all these parts that are CAD data out there that you can manipulate to bring into your assembly model. Now, obviously, we're not going to call every one of these views. I had a student one time turning a quiz. He forgot to do what? Added his views. So front, this is going to be what? Top. All uppercase, right? ISO view. And I always abbreviate this RS view. I don't know why it's not. Do you want me to review how to do the title block? Y'all know how to do that. I'll just do it real quick. It won't take me but 2-3 minutes, and then I'll save it, save as a PDF, and the video will be done, I hope. So you come up here, you do a right click on this, the assembly name or file name, assembly one, come to iProperties and go to summary. And the title of this is, we're just going to call assembly, all capital letters, assembly drawing. Subject is CAD 235. And the author is you, so it should be your name, uppercase letters. The manager would be me, and the company would be Virginia. Hang on. Peninsula Community College. Okay, and then go to, you can write in stuff down here, but anything below this line is not going to show up on your title block. Go to project, right here, designer will be you, engineer will be you, authority would be me. In other words, you're not going to 3D print it or put it on the laser cutter without me approving it. Go to status, checked by you. check off the date. Engineer approved by you, check off the date. Manufacturer approved by me, check off the date. And apply, close. And then I'm gonna do a file, save. I hope and pray that this video comes out. I have a good one. Okay, what is that? Multiple files. Okay, that's all right. All right. Now this is lowercase. You know why this is lowercase? That's my file name. That's why. You can change that, you know, if your teacher's giving you a problem about it, you can always go in here and you can change it right here. Okay. Assembly 1. All right. Now, let's save this and export this as a PDF. And if you don't know what it looks like, you just go over to your why is it not letting me open that up? There we go. So somebody without AutoCAD or without Inventor could open this up. You can also save this as a picture, PNG, if you're making your portfolio, as I was trying to encourage you to do. If you go back over here to the assembly, right, and you can get this in whatever view you want it to be. I don't know, maybe you want something like, I don't know, whatever view you want. But here's how you save it as a PNG, right? You go to File, Export as an image, and you can save it as a PNG here. Save. All right. Did you learn anything new? Were you bored to death? I was taking a little bit of break from 3D printing to your stuff. Okay, so your parts that we put in the, let me go ahead and stop this video here first.